The credit card statement swam before my eyes as I sat in my small apartment's kitchen. $300,000. A number so large it seemed almost abstract. My hands trembled as I flipped through page after page of transactions I'd never made. I'm Sarah Mitchell, 26, a third-grade teacher with a modest salary and careful spending habits. Or at least I was careful until my brother Alex decided to help himself to my identity. The first sign something was wrong came when I tried to buy a coffee maker, and my card was declined. Embarrassed, I used cash instead. But that evening, checking my accounts, my blood ran cold. Luxury car payments, high-end electronics, gambling debts, all in my name. "Alex, what did you do?" I whispered into my phone when I called him. "Relax, sis," he drawled, that familiar confidence in his voice that had always charmed our parents. "I had some temporary cash flow issues. I'll pay everything back before the next billing cycle." But I knew better. At 29, Alex had never held a job longer than 6 months. Our parents funded his entrepreneurial ventures while I worked my way through college. He was their golden child, the son who would supposedly make the Mitchell name famous. When I drove to our parents' suburban home that evening, Alex was already there, lounging on a leather sofa like we were gathering for a casual family dinner. "Mom, Dad," I started, spreading the statements across their glass coffee table. "Look what Alex did." Mom barely glanced at the papers. "Sarah, dear, why don't you sit down?" Alex explained everything. "He's just borrowing your excellent credit for a business opportunity." Borrowing my credit? I almost choked. He committed identity theft. He forged my signature, opened credit cards, took out loans. "Now, Sarah," Dad interrupted, using his corporate lawyer voice. "Let's handle this privately. No need to use such harsh terms. Family helps family." Alex smiled, all white teeth and false sincerity. "It's a tech startup, sis. 3 months tops and you'll get everything back with interest. Unless," his smile turned predatory, "you want to explain to your school board why your teacher has gambling debts." My stomach dropped. "Those aren't my debts. You're the one, whoa. But they're in your name," he said softly. "And who's going to believe the unstable little sister over the successful entrepreneur?" "Successful?" I laughed bitterly. "You've never succeeded at anything except manipulating people." "Sarah," Mom gasped, "apologize to your brother." I looked at my parents' faces. Mom's careful makeup couldn't hide her anxiety, Dad's stern expression masking his fear of scandal. They'd always protected Alex, covered his mistakes, paid his debts. But this time, he'd gone too far. "I won't apologize," I said, standing up. "And I won't stay quiet." "Think about the family name," Dad urged. "Think about my law firm's reputation. We can handle this internally." "Handle it?" I grabbed my statements. "I'm a teacher, Dad. It would take me 15 years to pay this off. And that's assuming Alex stops using my identity right now." "Which I will," Alex interjected smoothly, "as soon as this deal closes." I turned to leave, but Alex caught my arm. "Don't do anything stupid, sis," he warned quietly. "Remember when you had that anxiety attack in college? One call to the school board about your mental health history." I yanked my arm away, memories flooding back. That anxiety attack had been a reaction to finding my savings emptied by Alex, though I could never prove it. He convinced everyone I was having a breakdown, and our parents had sent me to therapy instead of investigating. But I wasn't that scared college student anymore. In my car, hands still shaking, I called the one person I knew would help. Lisa Torres, my best friend since 3rd grade, now a financial crimes investigator. "Lisa, I need your help," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "My brother stole my identity, and my parents want me to cover it up." There was a brief silence. "Come to my office first thing tomorrow," she said finally. "Bring every document you have. And Sarah, don't tell your family you're coming to see me." As I drove home, my phone buzzed with texts from my parents. "Mom, please don't do anything rash. Family first." "Dad, we'll help you with the payments. Just keep quiet." "Alex, don't forget, crazy teachers don't keep their jobs." I turned off my phone and parked outside my apartment. Through my window, I could see the stack of students' papers I needed to grade. Papers that would have to wait because my own brother had potentially destroyed my financial future. But as I climbed the stairs to my apartment, a strange calm settled over me. For years, I'd watched Alex charm and manipulate his way out of consequences while our parents enabled him. They created a monster, and now that monster had finally gone too far. Tomorrow, I would walk into Lisa's office with every shred of evidence I had. Tomorrow, I would stop being the quiet, understanding sister. Tomorrow, Alex would learn that some debts can't be paid with charm alone. Lisa's office at the Financial Crimes Division was exactly what you'd expect. Stark, professional, and filled with files. She listened intently as I laid out everything. The fraudulent accounts, the threats, our parents' attempts to silence me. "This is more serious than I initially thought," Lisa said, examining the documents. "Multiple credit cards, personal loans, even a mortgage application in process. Your brother wasn't just desperate, he was systematic." She pulled up something on her computer. "Look at this." The applications were submitted from different locations, using sophisticated IP masking. He knew exactly what he was doing. "But how?" I asked. "Alex can barely operate his own phone without help." "Because he's not working alone." Lisa turned her screen towards me. "These transactions match the pattern of a known fraud ring we've been tracking. Your brother may have gotten himself, and you, involved in something much bigger." My phone buzzed again. Alex had sent photos of my credit card statements with a message. "Would be a shame if these gambling charges became public. Think of your students." I showed Lisa the message. Her expression hardened. "That's the final piece we needed," she said, reaching for her desk phone. "Blackmail adds another layer to the charges." Before she could dial, my parents burst into her office, Dad leading with his lawyer swagger. "This meeting is over," he announced. "My daughter is withdrawing any complaints." Lisa stood slowly. "Mr. Mitchell, this is a federal investigation office. You can't just walk in here." "I'm a partner at Mitchell and Associates. I can walk anywhere." He turned to me. "Sarah, let's go." "Now." "She's 26, not 16, Lisa countered. "And we have evidence of multiple federal crimes." Mom stepped forward, tears perfectly staged. "Please, we're trying to protect our family. Surely you understand." "Protect?" Lisa pulled out a file. "Like when Alex embezzled from his last 3 employers, or when he scammed his college roommate's parents? Those incidents disappeared very quietly, didn't they, Mr. Mitchell?" My parents paled. "I hadn't known about those incidents." "How did you?" Dad started. "We've been building a case for months," Lisa revealed. "Sarah's complaint just connected the final dots. Your son isn't just stealing from family anymore. He's part of a larger criminal enterprise." As if on cue, 2 federal agents entered the office. "We have a warrant to search Alexander Mitchell's residence and business addresses," one announced. Mom collapsed into a chair. "This is a mistake. Alex would never." "Mrs. Mitchell," Lisa interrupted, "your son opened 15 credit cards in Sarah's name. He forged loan documents, created fake businesses for money laundering, and threatened a schoolteacher with public humiliation. Which part sounds like a mistake?" Dad's lawyer mask cracked. "I'll make this go away. Whatever the damage is, I'll pay it." "It's not about the money anymore," I said, finding my voice. "Alex needs to face consequences, real ones, not another family cover-up." "You'd send your own brother to prison." Mom gasped. "You'd let your daughter drown in debt." Lisa countered. My phone buzzed again. This time it was a text from an unknown number. "Alex says you're causing trouble. Back off, or those gambling debts become very real very fast." Lisa read the message over my shoulder and smiled grimly. "And there's the connection to the fraud ring we needed. Your son's business partners just made this much easier for us." Dad reached for his phone, presumably to warn Alex, but one of the agents stopped him. "That would be obstruction of justice, Mr. Mitchell. Don't make this worse." I watched my parents' carefully constructed world crumble. All those years of protecting Alex, of dismissing his mistakes, had led to this moment. "We have a choice to make," Lisa addressed my parents. "Either you step back and let us do our jobs, or you join your son as persons of interest in a federal investigation. Covering up financial crimes is still a crime." Dad's legal training finally kicked in. He put a hand on Mom's shoulder. "We need to stop, Helen. We can't fix this one." Mom turned to me, tears now real. "We thought we were helping him. Every time we cleaned up his messes, we thought." "You taught him he could get away with anything," I finished quietly. And now he has. Lisa nodded to the agents who left to execute their warrant. Sarah's credit will be restored, she told my parents. The banks will reverse the fraudulent charges once we present our evidence. But Alex and his associates will face serious federal charges. And if you try to interfere, she added, looking directly at my father, your law license won't survive it. As my parents left the office, shoulders slumped in defeat, I felt no triumph. Only relief mixed with sadness for the family we could have been if they'd stopped protecting Alex from his own choices years ago. You okay? Lisa asked softly. I nodded, watching through the window as my parents walked to their car, looking suddenly old and lost. They'll need a good lawyer, I said. Yes, Lisa agreed. But this time, it's not for covering up crimes, it's for facing them. The courtroom was silent as the judge prepared to deliver the verdict. 6 months had passed since that day in Lisa's office, and everything had changed. Alex sat at the defendant's table, his designer suit replaced by a department store one, his confident smirk long gone. The investigation had uncovered more than anyone expected. Alex wasn't just a participant in the fraud ring. He was a key player. His business ventures had been fronts for money laundering. Those charming connections he'd always bragged about, all fellow criminals. In the matter of United States versus Alexander Mitchell and co-defendants, the judge began, this court finds the defendants guilty on all counts of identity theft, wire fraud, money laundering, and criminal conspiracy. Mom stifled a sob beside me. Dad sat rigid, his face a mask of professional detachment. They'd finally stopped trying to fix things for Alex when the FBI found evidence that he'd been stealing from their accounts too. The defendant showed a pattern of escalating criminal behavior, the judge continued. The systematic abuse of his sister's identity is particularly troubling as of the subsequent attempts at blackmail and intimidation. Alex turned slightly, trying to catch my eye. I looked straight ahead. The court sentences Alexander Mitchell to 8 years in federal prison, followed by 5 years of supervised release. He is ordered to pay restitution to all victims, starting with the complete restoration of Sarah Mitchell's credit and financial standing. It was over. The nightmare that had consumed my life for the past 6 months, and in many ways for years before that, was finally ending. Outside the courthouse, reporters gathered for statements. Dad had hired a PR firm to handle the scandal's impact on his law firm, but the damage was done. Half his partners had left, taking their clients with them. Sarah, Mom caught my arm as I turned to leave. Please, can we talk? We found a quiet coffee shop nearby. Mom looked older now, the carefully maintained facade of the perfect family matriarch cracked beyond repair. I've been seeing a therapist, she said, stirring her untouched coffee. She's helping me understand how I failed both of you. Both of us. We protected Alex from everything, even himself. But we also failed you by never protecting you from him. She pulled out an old photo from her purse. Me at my college graduation, the day my savings disappeared. We should have believed you then. Yes, you should have, I agreed quietly. Your father and I are selling the house, she continued. Most of it will go to helping Alex's other victims, but we want to give you your share now. It won't make up for everything, but... Keep it, I interrupted. Use it to get counseling for Alex. Real counseling this time, not just another cover-up. You're a better person than we deserved, she whispered. Lisa was waiting outside when I left the coffee shop. She'd been promoted after the case, her investigation having uncovered one of the largest fraud rings in the state. The other victims are filing a class action lawsuit against the ring's assets, she informed me as we walked. You should join them. I shook my head. I just want to move forward. Speaking of moving forward, she smiled. Remember that financial literacy program you wanted to start at your school? The FBI's Victim Advocacy Department is interested in funding it. They think your story could help other people protect themselves. For the first time in months, I felt a spark of excitement. Really? You turned your nightmare into something positive, Sarah. Not many people could do that. That evening, I sat in my new apartment, a secure building this time, with better locks and security cameras, and opened my laptop. A blank document stared back at me as I began to type. Dear future students, sometimes the people who can hurt us most are the ones closest to us. But that doesn't mean we have to let them. My phone buzzed with a text from Dad. proud of you today. Not for testifying, but for standing up for yourself. I'm sorry it took this for me to see your strength." Another text followed from Mom. "Family dinner next Sunday. Just us three. We need to learn how to be a family again." I thought about it for a long moment. The last family dinner had started this whole nightmare. But maybe, just maybe, we could build something new from the ashes of our old family dynamic. "Yes," I texted back. "But I choose the restaurant, and we're all paying our own bills." Mom's response came quickly. "Deal." "And Sarah? Thank you for giving us another chance." I turned back to my laptop, continuing to write my program curriculum. My students would learn about more than just financial literacy. They'd learn about standing up for themselves, about recognizing manipulation, about the difference between helping family and enabling destructive behavior. Sometimes the hardest lessons come from our own experience. But as I wrote, I realized that my story wasn't just about fraud or family betrayal. It was about finding the strength to stand up for what's right, even when it costs you everything you thought you needed. Alex had tried to destroy my life, but instead he forced me to rebuild it, stronger, wiser, and finally, completely my own.